And here we go. More round of 16 action in No Tilt Worlds. Hi, I'm Rich Slayton from Clash Royale League. This is the World Cup of Clash Royale. Today, 2 round of 16 matches left to see who fills out those semifinals. Let's get to it. As I said before, 2 matches today. First up, Turkey faces off against Portugal, and later today, a big one. Germany, the current #1 seed, looks to continue their dominance against an Italian squad that is certainly capable of an upset. We already saw that in the group stage when they took out the UK squad. But first up, Turkey versus Portugal. This is a big one. Obviously, loser goes home, winner moves on, and this side of the bracket has already had a couple of small upsets. Brazil was the favorite over South Korea, but South Korea easily moved on through. Argentina took care of Canada, and then Colombia with a bit of an upset against France. So seeing who will face off against Colombia in the quarterfinal. Of course, our other quarterfinal match will be decided today. Germany or Italy will go on to face the United States of America on the right-hand side of the bracket, which is absolutely nasty. Turkey versus Portugal. Both of these squads had good showings in the group stage, able to move on, of course, with some big-time wins, both of them getting big moments in that group stage. And for Turkey, a lot of it has been on the back of FMGG, 2 wins in sets during that tournament and during that group stage in the 1v1. But their 2v2's also been good with Aslan and Yunus. On the Portuguese side, 2v2 has been a bit of a struggle for Vitor and Jebus. Derplight and Lucas have been the head-to-head stars, the 1v1 players, although Derplight struggled in 1v1. Lucas came out and put down 2 1v1 set wins to move that Portuguese side on into the bracket round. So we'll see what choices they make. Obviously, it looks like the 2v2's teams will be set one more time for today's match. Don't know about the 1v1s. The expectation is that Turkey will assuredly bring FMGG back out for 1v1. The question with Portugal is, will it be Derp or will it be Lucas? Lucas has had the better 1v1 record so far, and Derp's a fine player, but you kind of think Lucas might be the ace head-to-head player on this Portuguese side. So we'll see what they do once we get into the 1v1, but for now, it's the 2v2, and the teams are remaining the exact same. Yunus and Aslan on the left-hand side for Turkey, Vitor and Jebus on the right-hand side for Portugal in this all-important opening set. And so far in the tournament, Turkey has had a better showing in 2v2 than the Portuguese side has. Vitor and Jebus have gone 5-4 in their games, but still falling 1-2 overall in sets. So not quite able to get it done. That math doesn't seem like it works, right? 4-5 in games. There we go. Not 5-4. 4-5 in games, 1-2 in sets overall. So they haven't quite put together their 2v2 work yet, whereas Turkey has kind of made their bones off of getting ahead in that first game. And interesting, Portugal going Golem, and it's going Golem on both sides, which is a little bit surprising. Golem, a more low-skill version of 2v2, kind of a first meta, a CRL 2018 meta construction for 2v2. So both sides going Golem to open up, a little bit surprising, although the Battle Healer being mixed in does change things. And wow, it's Golem Battle Healer Rage for Portugal, and I actually do like Rage in 2v2. Although going with both Lumberjack and Rage is unique, to say the least. Turkey gets a little bit hurt early on, down to 18-11 left-hand side, building for a counter push. That cannon cart shouldn't really go anywhere, met by the Battle Healer at the bridge. So Portugal taking a page out of the CRL Asia playbook and mixing the Rage in, although CRL Asia usually does the Rage in lieu of a Lumberjack rather than in addition to. We'll see if that pays off for them. So far, working out pretty nicely. The bans, if you haven't seen them on the right-hand side yet, Turkey taking Miner off the board. Baby Dragon, banned courtesy of Portugal. So a pretty standard card, both in 1v1 and 2v2, but Often you see 4 baby dragons on the board at once in 2v2. Not available for this set. And golems again reach. Turkey has not yet got on the board in this 2v2 set. Portugal keeping a pretty heavy flow of golems so far. I don't know the exact numbers of golems from Portugal to Turkey, but it feels like Portugal's played at least 1 more golem so far in this matchup, potentially 2. We'll, of course, see when we see the stats on the back end of this game. And NATO pulls all that together. So the interesting note here is that Tornado's typically banned in 2v2. Not in this case, and you can see so far Portugal making some decent use of it, especially against those defensive troops, and now starting to load up, raging that entire push with the E-Drag behind. And this should get a connection. Battle Healer does get on that tower, down to now under 700 HP on the left-hand side. And now does Portugal finally get on the board? Yes, it took all the way until sudden death overtime practically, but finally Portugal does get some damage on the board. Kind of a shocker here. I don't believe Portugal has run a tornado. They obviously haven't used one yet. I mean, Turkey has not used a tornado yet. They haven't shown their last 2 cards, obviously, but they have not used tornado once this entire game. And you think with tornado in play, it's almost foolish not to have at least one amongst your full 16 cards. And that should be it. Earthquake comes in, and Portugal's Jebus and Vitor take care of business very easily, almost shockingly easily in this opening game. So there you have it. Game number 1 in the books. Portugal getting it done without really any trouble whatsoever. So we'll see on those stats if I was right about the ratio of that golem play between Portugal and Turkey. And you got to wonder, Turkey seen Tornado on the board and really having no answer for it defensively, and didn't seem like they had one on their side. So Portugal comes out to an easy first game win, and this was the place where it seemed like Turkey had the advantage, was in the 2v2 play. Of course, still 2 games potentially left in this 2v2 set, but you definitely don't want to be going in this matchup all the way to King of the Hill. When it comes to a King of the Hill matchup, if, again, FMGG can beat whoever Portugal sends out in the 1v1, assuming they lose this opening set, it really feels like Portugal matches up better when we get to King of the Hill. Of course, we'll see if we actually get there, but at the moment, it's Turkey down 1 to Portugal. Vitor and Jebus doing a really, really good job, and that Lumberjack Rage combination paying off. They were really able to stack those 2 together, and when that Lumberjack Rage started to burn off, they would drop the second Rage and get another extra bit of push. And you saw that work a couple of times there for Portugal. So an interesting construction, a different take on the double golem play from Portugal. Worked to perfect effect, and now suddenly Turkey, in the set where they thought they had the advantage, is behind moving into game number 2, not the place where they probably thought they would be at this stage. Now, the big question, of course, is going to be who comes out for Portugal in the 1v1. As I've said before, it's going to be Derp or Lucas. The big question really is, does Derp come back out? He has not been super successful so far in this tournament. Went 0-2 in his only 1v1 appearance, went 2-0 in King of the Hill. But Lucas has been really, really great, 4-1 so far in 1v1 during the group stage. So we'll see who comes out against FMGG, who's a very, very talented head-to-head player. But first, they got to go back to the drawing board and figure out if they can close things out in this 2v2 set. Turkey, certainly capable of a reverse sweep, a very talented duo. Aslan and Yunus have been playing well together throughout the tournament. So we will see if they come back out with something different, with a new look. The double golem not working for Portugal in game number 1. Still waiting on game 2 to start, guys. I don't control when the games start. They come from the studio in Mexico, the No Tilt studio. So as soon as that starts, we will, of course, jump right into the action. Portugal is winning so far. Let's see, anyone here? What do you guys think? Is it going to be Portugal taking this whole thing? Let's get, if you think it's going to be Portugal winning the overall match, 1 for Portugal, 2 for Turkey. Let's go ahead, chat, and chime in, get a little straw poll here. 1 if you think Portugal wins the entire day, or 2 if you think Turkey's able to pull it out after having lost game number 1. So go ahead and throw in your votes. We'll see what's happening. I'm going to go ahead and ping oh, here we go. Game number 2 is up. Eunice and Aslan, bottom of your screen for Turkey, top of your screen, Vitor and Jeebus for Portugal. Reminder of the bands Minor and Baby Dragon off the board the entire time. And it's going to be another Golem play from Turkey. Very interesting going back to the Golem one more time. Wonder if they made any adjustments. And a high Golem from Portugal. So it's another Golem v. Golem matchup. And so far, chat mostly voting for Portugal. A couple Turkey votes in there. A 0, I think, is a bet for everything to crash, potentially. And more tornado plays. It looks like Portugal going right back to the exact same thing that worked so well last time. We'll see if it works as well again. Snowball, little chip damage there for Turkey. A much better opening for Turkey in this number 2 game. And both teams taking a moment to reset. Turkey does have a slight elixir advantage going into this second minute of gameplay. So very similar looks. Of course, the Lumberjack Rage combo out of Portugal. We do see a Lumberjack down for Turkey. They haven't been, I doubt they've been drilling that Rage, so I'd be surprised if they did come in with a Rage as well. And while Rage doesn't really have a great place in the head-to-head meta, in 2v2 there's a really distinctive purpose for it. It does allow you to get that extra boost, especially on defense, without having to spend 4 full elixir. Just for 2 elixir, it helps you cycle faster and gives you a boost on either side, of course, offense or defense. But we've definitely seen from CRL Asia and CRL China that it is a decent card in 2v2, probably much better in 2v2 than it is in 1v1. And a little speed boost with that Dark Prince behind the Golem of Turkey, trying to get across the bridge first and force the battle to happen on that side. And here we go. Take a look at the poison coming down from Turkey, trying to get some of those troops in the back all eaten alive. Magic Archer will go off the board. And this time Turkey does opt to go with both the Rage and the Tornado. So might have just been a copy deck here from Turkey for game number 2. And I see in the chat a debate over Shawarma or Heroes. Shawarma all day. There's no debate on that one. Anybody who says Heroes over Shawarma, you're just wrong. And that's facts. There's no arguing against facts. That's science even. Here we go. Golem down, crossing the bridge now for Portugal. They're making the battle take place on the Turkish side. Rage for Portugal, and NATO pulling all that together, so should get some decent value out of the Magic Archer, and the same move in kind from the opposite direction. Poison trying to deal with that Magic Archer, but the Battle Healer keeping her alive. Keeping him alive. Turkey now putting the pressure on opposite direction, and that Battle Healer in the back. That Magic Archer is almost all the way back to full health, so a Magic Archer that was basically one shot, now suddenly firing back and getting into nearly full health, and the pressure is just coming in relentlessly from Turkey, and that's going to be it. Turkey takes game number 2. Very well played from Turkey. Sometimes copy deck is the best move you can come up with, and they did. They went and said, copy deck, GG, well played, and that's going to be it. You know, I wonder if they did have any opportunity to practice with the Lumberjack Rage combination. You see the idea there, right? Get the Lumberjack down, get it in the mix. When its Rage Potion dies off, stack that second Rage. And that's one thing about 2v2 is the stacking that you don't really see in 1v1. It's a really interesting mechanic, really interesting wrinkle in that 2v2 game, whether it's continuously playing graveyards and keeping those going over, or stacking in certain cases like you saw here. So Turkey evens things up 1-1. That's a big one. And someone here, I can't allow the language in chat, but someone saying that shawarma kicks over heroes, and I will absolutely agree. A solid chicken shawarma will destroy a hero. There's just, again, you can't debate science, and science says that. So sorry for all of you who are supporting the hero. You're simply incorrect. But not incorrect was the move we just saw from Turkey going with the switch on deck. Let's take a look at the stats, courtesy of your friends at Stats Royale, and you see just a straight-up copy deck. I mean, even the cards are in the same order Really, really funny. Portugal going, hey, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. Well played, Portugal. Well played, well played, Turkey. Well played, Turkey, indeed. So here we go. Game number 3, Turkey versus Portugal. Everything on the line. If I do believe that Turkey really, I mean, look, FMGG could be either Lucas or Derp. I think that Turkey definitely does not want to go to King of the Hill, though. So I think that Turkey really, really wants to take this 2v2 set. I don't think that Portugal's concerned about King of the Hill in the same way. I think that Portugal has a really good chance if we go to King of the Hill. I think they have a really good advantage there overall with their lineup. PE, keeping it kosher. No worries, brother. Keeping it kosher just like a good shawarma. There you go. Oh, yes, if you are here, go ahead and sub to the No Tilt YouTube page to make sure you don't miss any of the action. Even after the No Tilt Worlds tournament is done, there will be more No Tilt offerings in Clash Royale and beyond throughout 2020, so make sure you stick around. Go ahead and sub to No Tilt, ring the bell for notifications, and of course, if you want to, you can also sub to me. I'm going to say hi in the chat right now, and you can click those 3 dots on the right-hand side, go to user channel, and you guys can go check out my page. It has fun stuff like Clash Royale esports news, Inside the Play, where we dig deep into some of the biggest moments in Clash Royale history and how they worked the way they did, and some other fun stuff. So Golem once again for both sides, although this time the Portuguese, a slightly different look with the rocket. And a huge chunk of damage on that left-hand side early for Portugal. No, Adam Dolan, you rock. Okay, I rock too. Nice work. Magic Archer right-hand side for Turkey, doing a little bit of chip damage. And going Golem for Golem. Now, interesting, you see Turkey going Golem in the opposite direction. Very curious choice here from Turkey. Maybe they believe that they can do a tower trade here and defend the King Tower well enough. But a little surprising here to see Turkey go opposite lane in this Golem battle. Not typical 2v2 Golem v Golem play. And they're just going to sack tower there. Really interesting. Magic Archer on the outside. And not quite getting enough done in the opposite lane. This could be all Turkey here. I mean, sorry, this could be all Portugal here. Turkey with maybe I don't know if that was a misclick or a miscalculation, but going to that opposite lane, sacking the tower, I don't think that's going to work out well. Deborah, what's loud at the moment? Am I loud or is the gain volume loud? You also, I don't know if you know this, but there is a volume control on your phone or computer as well. But if the game volume is too loud compared to me, I can easily adjust that. So they do get the tower down on the right-hand side, but at what cost? At what cost? 584. This should be a 3 crown for Portugal. That right-hand, I mean, that King Tower definitely in spell cycle range. Spell cycle not needed. Portugal with the easy 3 crown. And wow, see how much better the chat is without emote spam. CWA in the building. If you want to get noticed, go ahead. CWA, notice me right now because he's here. And you got to wonder about that Golem into the right-hand lane. You really do, because you're playing Golem in 2v2 and choose to go for a tower trade situation. But you saw it did not have the tools for defense, and they got the right-hand tower down, but at that point, their King Tower already way too far behind, and especially given that there was a rocket in the deck of Portugal. So gotta wonder if it was a misclick to put the Golem in that right-hand lane, or just a poor strategic choice to make that Golem go in the right-hand lane. But unfortunately for Turkey, they go down in the 2v2, and now they have to win 2 sets in a row. Got to rely on FMGG to get the win over Derp or Lucas. I believe it's going to be Derp today, which we'll talk more about that in a moment. But you got to rely on FMGG to go out and get the 1v1 win, and then you have to go into King of the Hill against what I think is a better head-to-head matchup Portuguese side compared to the Turkish side. So we'll see what happens. Ooh, hey, Ashton. Oh, Ash says, I officially notice you at Rich Layton. You notice me? Oh, you notice Ashton? You notice me too? Who are you noticing? Well, thank you very much. Let's see. Are they not allowed an Inferno Tower? Seymour, they just didn't play Inferno Tower. Inferno Tower not as popular in 2v2 as you might think. Here we go. Taking a look at the stats, courtesy of our friends at Stats Royale. If you want to know what your next chest will be, go ahead and go to Stats Royale because they'll tell you. They'll tell you your next few chests. And you can see, really, this was the theme. It was double golem the entire way through, all three games. Double golem from both sides. And Turkey made a good call in copying the deck the first time, but going back to that well the third time for that game number 3, a little bit surprising. You would have thought that maybe they take a moment and recalculate, trying to find something that they feel like battles better against this double golem deck. And you see the slight adjustment there from the Portuguese taking the Earthquake out, realizing that no one's running buildings. Having a pretty good call bringing the Rocket in there. So they had Rocket NATO, a lot of ability to create damage both on towers and on troops. And I think that was a really smart adjustment by the Portuguese. Of course, the going into the right-hand lane, whether it was a misclick by Tile or a miscalculation by the Turkish side, definitely lended itself to a rough go at that point and didn't have much to play defense. And there you go. Turkey falling in set number 1, Portugal with a big advantage going into the 1v1 set. FMGG. Look, if there's someone that you want from Turkey playing in this 1v1 set, FMGG is the guy. He's a great player. He's had a really, really good last 9 months or so. Of course, that performance he put on at World Cyber Games at WCG coming in second was nice. And here we go, going up against Derp, and I'm a little bit surprised here. I'm a little bit shocked about Derp being the 1v1 player in this case. Derp is a fine player, right? 77.7K personal best, 173rd his best finish on ladder, and has had some pretty solid performances throughout his career. But I just think that Lucas is the ace from this squad. Lucas is an 8.1K player with maybe a little bit better resume, and he's performed better so far in this tournament. So very curious about this choice between Derp versus Lucas, but maybe they like the way that Derp's deck pool matches up against FMGG's better. That's a distinctive possibility. So very curious about that choice overall. So Lava for Derp. And a little reset there. A nice snowball in for FMGG should be enough to... There you go. The E-Wiz dies pretty quickly, and Ram Rider jumps in. And that miner to be pretty much left alone. That's going to be a lot of damage. Even with the nerf, that Ram Rider does connect on the right-hand side, 1234. So despite all of that, FMGG comes out in the lead and now starts to put the pressure on. Bandit at the bridge runs right into the mini P.E.K.K.A. So here we go, the first minute 15 away. Oh, and just 1/2 step late with that mini P.E.K.K.A. getting the shot on the right-hand side, and that could be a big difference. Now, the big question here is, what does Derp have that can really stop this Ram Rider? Kind of has to hold on to that mini P.E.K.K.A. and hope the mini P.E.K.K.A. is sufficient. But that Ram Rider is probably going to get a few pretty big shots on that right-hand tower. So, as you can see, both players kind of resetting here, not wanting to be the first one to blink. Derp doing something a little bit unique for Lava Hound these days, which is backing off and not being insanely aggressive the entire way through. So here we go, entering double elixir time. I'm expecting Derp to pull the trigger here, and look at that. FMGG just going right at the bridge with the Mega Knight. He knows that, oh, and look at the beautiful play with that miner. FMGG knew the Inferno Dragon was coming down, and Derp knew that the E-Wiz was going to try to support, and a beautiful miner placed in the perfect spot to keep that Inferno Dragon from being targeted by the E-Wiz. That was beautiful, beautiful play by Derp. You know he had that queued up and ready to rock, and now FMGG in a lot of trouble. Mega Knight does come down on the miner, but the miner doesn't even retarget to the Mega Knight, 374 right-hand side, so now Derp starting to get potentially in spell cycle range as we move into sudden death overtime. And this time the E-Wiz much higher. Fireball behind. And this mini P.E.K.K.A. has just been a nightmare for FMGG. Ram Rider does connect, but a whole lot going the opposite direction. I don't know if FMGG has enough in the tank to stop this. Baby Dragon on. No, he doesn't. That's going to be it. Portugal takes game number 1 over FMGG, and suddenly Turkey is facing themselves one game away from potentially being eliminated. A bit of a shocker there. Let's see. Question about the stream issues. Guys, I'm working off of a clean feed coming from the studio in Mexico. Not really sure why there's a delay. All the settings are up pretty high, pretty great internet. So we're trying to work on getting a better image, but we've got everything working at full clip at the moment. So we'll try to see if we can get it a little bit tighter. Is there, we'll see if, I don't know if there's a lag issue on the end, but I'll take a look at that and see what I can clean up. But all the settings have it set up to go, so it should look pretty nice. Quality's at 1080p. We'll see if we can get this all fixed and corrected for the second match of the day, the Germany-Italy match. But at the moment, we're talking about Turkey versus Portugal, and FMGG taking the L there, just doing his best to push on through. Didn't have enough for that final push, and the mini P.E.K.K.A was a lot, but really the big turning point felt like when they went in the double elixir time and FMGG dropped the 7 elixir Mega Knight at the bridge. Inferno Dragon comes down in response. FMGG goes, cool, I'm ready for that with the E-Wiz, but a beautiful miner from Derp kept the E-Wiz from getting involved in the game. Here you go. Taking a look at the action. Stats provided by our friends at Stats Royale. FMGG not even really able to get that poison into the mix. And this ended up being a tough one. You know, you think with the Snowball and E-Wiz, the Inferno Dragon would be something you can deal with, but unfortunately, in this case, Derplight was one step ahead, and Portugal now looking good. Look, Portugal was one of my 2 picks, one of my 2 sleeper picks overall in this tournament. Portugal and Romania were my 2 sleeper picks when this tournament was announced, and Romania did a good job making it to the group stage, of course, beating Spain, falling to the Team USA in the round of 16. Portugal now in a position need one more game win to move into the quarterfinals, and this Portuguese side certainly has a lot of talent behind it. So we will see if Portugal moves on through to the next round. Very, very talented squad top to bottom. Here we go. 1v1 game number 2. Derplight, top of your screen. FMGG at the bottom, and Miner picked up by the mini P.E.K.K.A immediately. Easy kite from FMGG. And now Derp setting up into that left-hand lane. Pretty slow start on both sides for this opening game. Derp just content to sit back and see what's happening. Inferno Dragon right-hand lane from FMGG, and Electro Dragon immediately into that right-hand side as well. And talk about the miner play with the stuns. You see what FMGG was going for there. Might have been, oh, and here we go. So we go Elixir Golem right-hand lane supported by the E-Drag, but then Ice Golem, I almost said Snowman. Ice Golem Balloon left-hand lane. This should be a pretty simple tower trade. So you're going to see both sides go down. FMGG getting a little aggressive on the right-hand lane, but knowing he cycles a little bit faster and happy to go ahead with that tower trade. And a lot of damage on that King Tower. So now that opens up a ton for FMGG and is going to get a few more elixir here from those blobs going down. And look at that, Miner taking for the Hunter. The Ice Golem nearly did its job. You see what FMGG was going there, trying to use the Ice Golem to keep the Baby Dragon off the Hunter and get a little bit of extra damage. Didn't quite get in there, get close enough at the right time. So FMGG with a couple of sharp ideas, trying to go for some highlight plays, but not quite able to pull them off. And despite all that, still in the lead in both lanes right now. Mini P.E.K.K.A heading into the Ice Golem Hunter on that left-hand side. Barb Barrel gets behind the Hunter, so nicely played by Derplight. Now Miner Chip on the right-hand side, and it's Derp just getting super hyper-aggressive right on the inside. NATO pulls everything together, and the Inferno Dragon not able to connect yet, but Mini P.E.K.K.A trying to keep the pressure on. Still a lot of blobs on the left-hand side, and Mini P.E.K.K.A does get in. Derp waving the fish of domination. Derplight throws down the 3 crown, a quick 2-0 sweep in games, a quick 2-set sweep for Portugal, and they barely broke a sweat. Portugal taking Turkey out making it look easy, and Derplight with some fancy play in game number 1, and then goes to the deck, which I'm guessing a lot of the chat isn't a huge fan of, in game number 2. And you saw FMGG with a couple moments, looked like he could have taken it, but in the end, once that Elixir Golem came in the pocket and the NATO Baby Dragon just wiped out all that defense left-hand side, that was it. GG, well played. Look at my fish. Derplight takes the win. Portugal moves on into the quarterfinals. Wow. Very, very well played by Portugal. This is pretty brilliant play so far from a team that, again, I picked early on as one of the sleeper picks. And Portugal now moving on to the quarterfinals. I don't remember exactly what the bracket is. I'll have to see who they're matching up with. We should have a replay coming in here in just a moment. Derplight making me eat my words. You know, I said that I thought Lucas was the better choice in 1v1, but the question I had was, do they feel like Derp's deck pool matches up better against FMGG? I don't know if that was their reasoning, but you did see Derp come out hot in that one. So here you go. This looks like it's going to be the end of this matchup, and you see the bar barrel come in left-hand side, and the hunter doesn't turn. The hunter's already on the mini P.E.K.K.A. So that hunter just gets destroyed by the mini P.E.K.K.A. and the bar barrel. And then here we go. He knew what was going to happen. He knew that Inferno Dragon would come down, so immediately E-Drag behind. The Tornado pulls all that together. E-Dragon, Baby Dragon, NATO doing work, and just nothing left. You can see FMGG thirsting for Elixir. The Fish of Domination coming out for Derplight, and that's a 3-crown win. Way to put a stamp on it, Derp, for Portugal to move on into the next round. And now Portugal with a shot. Look, Portugal now needs to get one more win to move on to semis. I need to see who they're matched up with on that side. I know that the top is going to be South Korea and Argentina. We should see the bracket here in a moment. I can't remember who the other matchup's going to be in this bottom left-hand side of the bracket. So you know what? I can go ahead and look that up here in a second. Let me go ahead and look up who they're going to be facing off against in that bottom part of the bracket. I will find it soon. Where are you, bracket? Does anybody in chat know who they face off against in the quarterfinal round? Man, who won that one? Colombia. Oh, okay, there we go. Colombia, that's who it's going to be, after Colombia taking out France. So Portugal will face Colombia in that quarterfinal round, which will be a very interesting matchup. Of course, South Korea and Argentina on the top side of that bracket. And we still only have one quarterfinal player left to determine. Later today, we'll see Germany versus Italy, see if Germany can continue to dominate the way they have, or if Italy has another upset up their sleeve. But for now, Portugal moving on against Turkey, and they really have had a great tournament overall. Here we go. There are your results. The 2-0 win for Portugal. It started with Vitor and Jebus with the 2v2 win over Yunus and Aslan, and it really felt like once Turkey lost the 2v2 that Portugal had a massive advantage. Of course, you talk about how that's obvious. Yes, having the one-set advantage is huge, but in particular, it felt like Turkey needed to win the 2v2 to have a real shot at beating Portugal. And then you go into the 1v1 set, and Derp, just a quick 2-0 over FMGG. I'd love to know what the Portuguese coach, what his thought process was here, if it was about the deck matchups or why Derp was in here over Lucas, but obviously was the right call. A quick 2-0, took care of FMGG, and some really slick plays by Derp out of all that. And here you go. There's the bracket. As you can see, as it stands, it's going to be Portugal against Colombia in the quarterfinals, Korea and Argentina above them, China and Mexico on the opposite side, and later today we'll determine who faces the USA in that last quarterfinal match. Will it be Germany or will it be Italy? So there you go. Match number 1, Portugal takes out Turkey, and we'll be back in about an hour for Germany versus Italy. It will be, I believe it'll be a brand new stream, so you can sit around and hang out in the chat for as long as you want, but that Turkey-Italy or that Italy-Germany matchup will be a completely new stream. Guys, a lot of you said ones in the chat when I asked if it'd be Portugal or Turkey, and a lot of you were right. Portugal moving on through. And the big story for me has to be the change in the 2v2, the way that Portuguese side, Vitor and Jebus, are able to recorrect on their 2v2, having struggled during the group stage, and the Golem with the NATO Rage, with the Lumberjack Rage combination worked out very, very well for them. And then, of course, in game number 3, switching in that Rocket in favor of the Earthquake to take that big advantage. We're going to be back again, like I said, in about an hour for our next matchup, where I will be joined on voice by one of your favorite YouTubers. Night Owl will be jumping in to join for the for that 2v2, right? Is that who I set? Is that who I set up? I know I set up somebody for. I believe it was Night Owl who'll be jumping in for the second match on voice of the day. Yes, it is Night Owl. One of your favorite YouTubers will be joining me here for that second match of the day. So we'll be back in about an hour. I'm Rich Slayton. Don't forget to subscribe to No Tilt, and we'll see you in about 54 minutes. Peace.